Yes.
Okay, طيب. Good morning, grade 7. Welcome to science class. Today, inshallah, we are going to start a new lesson 2, from topic 7, air pollution. طيب. First, what are the causes of pollution? طيب, who can tell me what is the meaning of pollution before talking about the causes of pollution? What is pollution? What does this word mean? طيب، اول شيء مين بيحكي لي شو معناها بالعربي in Arabic؟ شباب ليش ساكتين؟
teacher.
يلا, what is pollution?
تلوث.
Yes. طيب, what does it mean in English in science?
Ustad,
Okay.
Ustad, can I go to the bathroom?
طيب ماشي. Okay. طيب, pollution means
Harmful.
I expected you to know that it is the contamination, okay, of land, air, or water when there are harmful, if there are a lot of harmful substances or toxic substances in air or in water or land, this is called pollution. There are many types of pollution. Today, inshallah, our topic or our subject is about air pollution. So when we say air pollution, that means there are toxic materials or toxic substances or harmful materials in the air. So, of course, this can cause many problems to organisms, especially humans, and makes air.
أستاذ أنا ريان هسه أجيت.
Yes, okay. This pollution makes air not clean. Okay? يعني simply air pollution, the air becomes unclean. طيب. If there are toxic or harmful gases or substances in the air, this is called air pollution, and it can cause many health problems. شباب, is it okay?
أحمد تطفي المايك.
طيب, is it get it? طيب. Now the first thing I want you to know that what causes pollution? What are the causes of pollution? Of course, there are many causes or many things that can cause pollution. طيب, first, as you know that we are surrounded by air. Air is around you everywhere. Now, in my room, I am surrounded by air. You surrounded by air. If you are in the street, you are surrounded by air. If you go in the plane, if you travel by plane or by ship or by car, wherever you go, air surrounding you. Okay. What is air or the atmosphere? It is a mixture of what? Gases. Who can remind me what are these gases? What are the gases?
Nitrogen, carbon, oxygen, carbon dioxide,
Excellent.
water vapor, and other
Yeah,
gases.
excellent. This is the component of the air or the atmosphere. Nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water vapor, and other gases. All of them are gases. طيب, I want to talk about these gases in more details, or the structure or the composition of air. Air is a mixture of gases. طيب, what is the major gas in the atmosphere? مين بيحكي لي؟ يلا. What is the major gas of the atmosphere in the atmosphere? يعني which gas makes up most of the air. يعني impossible مالكو. We mentioned this many times.
Ustad, oxygen.
No.
Nitrogen.
Yes. The major component of air is nitrogen. طيب. Did you know that nitrogen makes up 78% of the air? 78% of the air is nitrogen. طيب, the second gas is oxygen. Oxygen makes up 21% of what? Of the air. طيب. Who can add this? 78 plus 21 equals how much?
99%.
Yes. So 99%
1%
of
other
the
gases.
air, 99% of the air is nitrogen and oxygen together. Now, other gases, okay, other gases makes up only 1%. 1% of the air is made up of other gases like carbon dioxide, okay, water vapor, carbon dioxide, and other gas like, for example, methane. Okay, طيب. Again, شباب, understood?
Yeah.
So, air is a mixture of nitrogen, which makes up 78% of the atmosphere or the air. Oxygen makes up 21. Other gases like carbon dioxide, water vapor, and other gases makes up only 1%. So, this is the composition, or this is the component of air that's surrounding us. Right. Of course, as you know, almost all living things, when we say living things, we mean humans, animals, plants, and even microorganisms or small organisms, or that we can't see by our eyes, like bacteria, fungi, algae. Almost all living things depend on these gases to survive. As you know, all organisms need oxygen to survive. Also, plants, for example, need carbon dioxide. Do you know why plants need carbon dioxide?
Why, teacher?
You should know. معلش والله ليش ما حدا بيجاوب؟ Why do plants need carbon dioxide, or how?
أستاذ علشان تطلع لنا أكسجين.
Because, yes, so by photosynthesis. As you know, plants need carbon dioxide to make their own food or to make sugar by a process called photosynthesis. طيب.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, plants need oxygen, animals need oxygen, humans need oxygen. طيب. These gases are important, of course. Even nitrogen, by the way. Nitrogen is, as you know, needed also by plants to make, not only, and plants fix nitrogen. Do you remember that nitrogen fixation? In nitrogen fixation, some types of bacteria that live on plants, on plants like legumes, they fix nitrogen and change it to protein. Okay. These gases cycle between the biosphere and the atmosphere. As you know, they are always moving between the biosphere. Biosphere is the part of Earth that includes living things. Biosphere, we mean by biosphere from the word bio. Bio means living things. So the biosphere means all organisms. The atmosphere is the part of the Earth where are gases. We mean the atmosphere, the part of the Earth that is made up of gases, these gases, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and so on. Right. Always, these gases are always moving. Now, the cycles guarantee that air supply will not run out. Because of the cycle, the air is always available. Air will never run out because it's renewable resource. It's impossible for air to run out. If the air run out, so life will be impossible on Earth. طيب. But the cycles, notice, the cycles guarantee, okay, that air supply will not run out, but they do not, the cycles do not ensure that the air will be clean. Yes, the air will not run out, but unfortunately,
Might not be clean.
because of pollution. We will talk about
Yeah.
this. The cycles of these gases, for example, nitrogen cycle, oxygen cycle, carbon cycle, and so on. These cycles ensure or guarantee for us that the air supply will continue, will not run out. But these cycles can't guarantee that the air will still clean. Human activities, by the way, humans are the main cause of pollution, as we will see. Humans are always the problem. Yani the problem always comes from humans. Fine. This is an introduction for the air, for this lesson, that the air is made up of gases, as you know, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water vapor, and so on. And all living things need these gases to survive. And the cycles of these gases ensure that the air will not run out, but they can't ensure or guarantee that it will be clean. What is pollution? Now we are going to talk about pollution. In Arabic means التلوث. This is the definition of pollution in science. It is the contamination of air,
Yeah.
land, water, or air. Okay? So the contamination of earth, land, water, or air is called pollution. According to this definition, or based on this definition, we can classify, or we can say that there are many types of pollution: pollution of land, water pollution, pollution of land or land pollution, water pollution, air pollution. Okay, when one of these things or one of these resources, soil or land, water or air, when one of them becomes or become contaminated, so we call it pollution. Of course, in this lesson, we are
Yeah.
going to talk about air pollution. So pollution is caused by liquids. Yani it's important to highlight this. Pollution can be caused by liquids, yani substances that are liquid, also by chemical substances, heat. Also, did you know that heat or hot temperatures can cause pollution? Light sometimes. Yeah. For example,
How heat causes pollution?
how what?
How heat causes
Okay, good
pollution?
question,
and light.
Natalie. Good question. Okay, as you know, organisms or marine organisms or خلينا نحكي many living things, many organisms live in water, in oceans, rivers, lakes. Suppose that, or when people dump or throw hot water, very hot water, in the rivers or in the ocean, what will happen to the temperature of the water? It will increase. As you know, these organisms are adapted to specific temperature. Yani, for example, the river, for example, in some rivers, organisms that in some rivers live, some organisms that live in specific rivers are adapted, or the temperature of the river is always 22 degrees, for example, degrees Celsius. Suppose that people sometimes dump, yani throw wastewater okay, from
Yeah.
factories. This water is very hot. When we dump a large amount of water in the river, what will happen to the temperature of the river? It will increase. Organisms that live in the river can't tolerate or can't adapt to the increase in the temperature, and it may die. They may die. طيب. Get it, Natalie?
Yes, Ustad.
طيب. Please, these are the causes of pollution. Also, there are noise pollution. When you are living, for example, in an area where there is a lot of noise, like traffic, it can cause for you many problems. Did you know that it can cause death? يعني if you are always subjected to very high sounds called noise. It is called noise pollution. So these are the causes of pollution. Causes of pollution can be liquids. Okay. Yalla.
Yeah.
These are the causes of pollution. Liquids. Okay. Two. Who can help me?
Chemicals,
Chemicals. Yes.
heat, light, and noise.
Yes. All of these are sources or causes of pollution. Heat, 4, light, 5, noise. Okay, so all of these are the causes of pollution. طيب. Pollution can have, is pollution a problem? Yes, of course. It can have dramatic negative effects or impacts on the environment and on living things, on living organisms. By the way, يعني one of the major problems that threaten our planet is pollution. Pollution can damage the environment. Okay. Humans affect the levels of pollution by using natural resources and manufactured products. So we can say that humans are the main cause also of pollution, because we use a lot of natural resources and manufacture products. These two things causes pollution. Right. Look at figure 1. As you see here at the below at the bottom of the page, look at this page. What do you see? This is pollution can occur naturally or through human activities. Okay. By the way, part of the pollution can be natural, but the major cause of pollution, most of the pollution comes from human activities. Sometimes level of pollution is so great that it harms people, as you see in this picture. شوفوا لاحظين شو شايفين بالصورة? What is in the image? شو في؟
A lot of fog and
Yes, there is a lot of fog.
gas.
Yes. This is okay. طيب إن شاء الله. So figure 1 shows how the burning of gasoline, اللي هو البنزين, لاحظ إنه burning of gasoline pollutes the air. In addition, when coal and oil-based fuels are burned to generate electricity, carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide are released into the air. Inshallah, we will talk about this in more details. So, gases, when people, one of the major cause of air pollution, I'm talking now about air pollution, burning fossil fuels like gasoline, coal, oil-based fuels. All of these generate pollutants like carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, when the levels of carbon dioxide, when there are a lot of carbon dioxide in the air, or when the levels of carbon dioxide increase in the atmosphere, it can be a pollutant and cause many problems to the air. Sulfur dioxide, it is a compound. Inshallah, we will talk about it. These are two pollutants. طيب. They result from burning fossil fuels. طيب. Now, what are the types of pollution? Pollution can be divided into two categories or two classes. There is called point source and non-point source. What is the difference between them? What is a point source and what is a non-point source? طيب. If the source of the pollution is specific, a specific identifiable pollution source is called point source. What does it mean? That if the source of the pollution is clear or you can identify it easily, it is called point source. Example, a sewer that drains untreated wastewater into a river is an example of a point source. عارفين شباب شو يعني السور؟
يا بس المجاري
مجاري.
كأنه
طيب, a sewer that drains untreated wastewater. Of course, as you know, there are wastewater that comes from homes, from the toilets. This,
Ustad,
okay.
can I read non-point source?
طيب استنى شوي. Wait, يلا. Point source, that means the source is specific or identifiable. Okay, this is called point source. Example, a sewer that drains wastewater into a river. This is an example of a point source. In this example, as you know, wastewater, if it go to the river, it can pollute or contaminate the river. Non-point source, يلا اقرأي.
A non-point source of pollution is widely spread and cannot be tied to a specific origin. For example, the
Wait,
polluted
بس
air
Natalie,
around
wait,
big
راح أخليك تكملي. Wait. This
Okay.
type of pollution or this source, non-point source, you can't specify or identify it. Okay, continue, Natalie.
For example, the polluted air around big cities is caused by vehicles, factories, and other sources. Because it is difficult to identify the exact source of the pollution has a non-point source.
Exactly. Thank you, Natalie. So there are two types of pollution according to the source. There are point source that you can identify it or specify it. And you can say that this is the source. For example, sewer that drains untreated wastewater into a river is an example of a point source. For example, I can identify or I can specify that the source of pollution, this river, comes from the wastewater. Okay, the non-point source, you can't identify it. You can't identify the source. This is widely spread and cannot be tied to a specific origin. And the example, the polluted air in big cities, it's caused by vehicles, factories, and other sources. It is difficult to identify the exact source of the pollution. طيب. So it is called non-point source. طيب شباب, is there any comment till now?
No, everything is clear.
طيب.
No.
What is the difference between point and non-point sources? This is a reading check. What is
Can I answer it?
يعني what is the difference between point and non-point sources of pollution? Who can answer?
Can I answer it, please? Natalie.
Who's talking? Natalie, معلش خلينا give chance to others. Thank you, Natalie. يعني thank you very much.
Okay.
Who can answer? بيان
What
موجود
is the
عفوا.
difference between points?
بيان دخلت الميتينج ولا لا؟ طيب مش مشكلة.
أستاذ point source يعني بيكونوا عارفين لو إنه clean أو مش clean صح؟
ايش ريان عيد؟
ال point source they know إنه if it's clean ولا لا. أما non-point source I think إنه they're not sure if it's clean ولا no.
No, لا ريان. Point means that you can specify the source.
Okay.
دارشيني
In
تفضلي.
point source, we can easily identify the exact source that pollute.
Exactly. Okay.
But
And
in
non-point
non-point
source.
it is difficult to identify the exact source that pollute.
Great. Excellent, Darshin. Excellent. Thank you. That's it. So point source that يعني you can point. يعني to understand it, point from when you point on something. I can say that this is the source of the pollution. Exactly, easily. But non-point source, I can't identify its origin. Okay? I don't know where the pollutants, where do pollutants come from. Okay, let's go to the next page. As you see here, طب خلي بلاش بعدين نحكي عن
أستاذ
الصورة.
جاوبت أنت جواب السؤال
لا
هذا؟
خلص راح ابعث لك اياه ان شاء الله later.
Okay.
But this is in general. Now, also pollution can be classified into outdoor and indoor. By its name, outdoor, that means it's outside your home. The pollution or air pollution can be divided into outdoor air pollution and indoor air pollution. First, we are going to talk about outdoor air pollution. Fine. The air you are breathing is a combination of different gases. As we mentioned, it is a combination of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and so on. If you are in the mountains, the air might feel fresh and crisp. ايش معنى crisp بالعربي شباب؟ انا بعرفهاش.
Crisp. The air might feel fresh. Crisp هيك يعني زي fresh نفس المعنى.
طيب.
بالضبط.
If you are at the shore, you might smell the salt water. In large cities, however, the air might be not as refreshing. Do you know why? Because in large cities, have you ever been in a large city? يعني I mean larger than Irbid, a big capital. مين عمره راح على large city?
شو أستاذ؟
Have you ever been in a large city?
Yeah.
Like what?
والله يعني كثير ما مش متذكر.
Okay. In general, the air in large cities are not as refreshing because it is polluted from vehicles, from cars, from factories.
Yeah.
Right. Air pollution can be a big problem in areas where there are a lot of factories or a lot of people. Okay? يعني in crowded areas, in crowded cities or crowded areas, and also in areas where there are a lot of factories, alhamdulillah, there are air pollution can be a big problem. طيب. What is the meaning of emissions? What is the meaning of emissions? Look here, please. As you know,
Pollutants.
يعني good factories are always, there are gases that are released from industry. These gases go to the atmosphere. We call them emissions. Okay? Inshallah, now we will talk about emissions. So the gases or smoke that come from factories or from industry is called emissions. طيب. Emissions, many years ago, the main source of air pollution was the smoke being pumped out of factories. Okay? You have probably seen images of these emissions or pollutants. Okay, this is the definition of emissions. They are pollutants that are released into the air as the dark smoke coming out of a factory's tall chimneys. Okay, so emissions means the pollutants that are released into the air, and these pollutants come from factories. Okay, من المدخنة تبعت الفاكتوري. Like dark smoke. This is an example of emissions. طيب.
Yeah.
This is هاي طلعوا على الفيجر هاي شباب. هاي هم emissions. طلعوا. Also you can consider these emissions هذول اللي من vehicles. This is an example of emissions. Get it? So emissions are pollutants. They are toxic gases, pollutants, toxic materials, harmful gases that are released into the air as dark smoke, as you see in the figure, coming out of factories, tall chimneys. طيب. Now, these emissions or this smoke is loaded. يعني it is full of what? Of chemicals. It is loaded with chemicals that mix with the gases in the air. When these emissions or when these chemicals mix with gas in the air, they interact with it and make pollutants. However, today most of air pollution is released from coal-fired power plants. طيب. What are coal-fired power plants? طلع. As you know, there are plants or factories that generate electricity. These plants depend on coal. They burn coal and change the heat from coal to electricity. These are called coal-fired power plants. These are the main source of air pollution. Also, another source of air pollution, wait, Natalie, motor vehicles, because there are millions of cars around the world, millions of vehicles around the world. طيب نتالي تفضلي ايش بدك؟
أستاذ كمان nowadays some people that have asthma, some people could die from the smoke and fog.
Of course. People who are suffering from diseases like asthma, they are affected. They are mostly affected by air pollution. Of course, thank you. Look, these are examples of the sources of air pollution. Notice the industrial emissions from the factories. Also, forest fires can cause or can add to pollutants or to emissions. Also, motor vehicle emissions. So, most air pollution is released from coal-fired or coal power plants because these plants use coal. Coal, as you know, is a fossil fuel. When you burn coal, burning coal releases carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a pollutant. Also, from motor vehicles, they are also release carbon dioxide. طيب. Emissions often contain what? As I told you, carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is found in the atmosphere naturally, but in very small amounts, as you see. Less than 1%.
أستاذ الحصة خلصت.
يلا less than
أستاذ
1 minute.
الحصة.
يلا.
بيولوجي
يلا
بات
باي.
الزوم.
يلا goodbye.
عندنا امتحان.
عندكم بيولوجي؟ كويز
عندنا
يعني؟
امتحان كويز يعني.
كويز.
يلا goodbye.
باي تيجي.
باي.
goodbye.
أتمنى لنا التوفيق قصدي التوفيق.
يلا ماشي.
اتلخبطت.
Best wishes.
Thank you.